is a way of expressing yourself. And for me, it makes me feel much more confident, whether I'm in a big, fancy ball gown on stage or just walking around with a bit of makeup on the street.
The wonderful thing about drag is it's supposed to be fun. It's about humor.
I think it's something very fun that I can do to dress up and have a good time.
Drag is the art of expression.
Creative expression at its most exuberant.
It is this really beautiful meeting of all these different things. It's like, and all these things that it can be and doesn't have to be also.
Drag is the power of performance, and I think drag is community, ultimately.
Historically and traditionally, it was like putting on a character of gender performance. But I've gotten to see it evolve to be so much more. It's about exploring self and expression in whatever ways make sense. And there's like drag monsters and drag things and drag creatures. It's this really, I think, beautiful way of imagining beyond.
Some people can do drag and not want to perform, and that's totally okay. And some people can be really interested in costuming, but not so much makeup, or really into makeup or not so much costuming, but like I really love all of it.
For me, drag is the possibility to imagine otherwise and escape from all these borders and binaries that have been imposed by the modern colonial narrative. And it allows you to finally let loose in a way that you can be whatever you want. And it's just about play and creativity and imagination.
An avenue for self-expression, a way to meet people, and it's always something that can change. Like, it doesn't have to be like one particular thing. It can be something that I'm like building upon or letting go of certain things or finding new things.
Carousel Theater for Young People is a professional theater company for children. We put on professional shows all throughout the year for kids of all ages, from the 2-year-olds to the teenagers. Ultimately, what Carousel tries to do is inspire expression and creativity and passion through the art of theater. Sometimes that means watching it, and then for our classes and our programs, that means participating in it. Putting forward a drag camp really encompassed the kind of space that we wanted to create here at Carousel, which was a safe place to express, a safe place for queer kids, trans kids, kids of all types, all ages, what have you, all backgrounds. They could come here and express themselves. I was initially nervous about calling it drag, but then when I really thought of it, what encompasses drag? Drag is dressing up, drag is makeup, drag is performance, it's lip syncing, it's community, it's choreography, all of the things, all of these little artistic slices of what drag is drag, and it would be inauthentic to call it anything other than the beauty that it is, which is drag.
Most of my friends know that I've been to drag camp, and most of them are very jealous and have said that they want to go. I've shown pictures of like the makeup I did, and it's all been very positive feedback, which makes sense because I have a lot of queer friends. Queers just gravitate towards each other, I guess.
What was your favorite part of drag camp?
Probably going through the costume bin and looking at all the cool stuff that was there. Trying to figure out what you wanted to pick out and being like, no, this one's mine.
On the first day, I was really nervous because I didn't know anybody. But on the last day, I had made new friends and I got to co-MC the performance, which was wonderful. It makes me feel much more confident, and it's like a dress feels like armor, or when makeup feels like a helmet for my soul.
This last year of drag camp, so the summer of 2023, a leader of a political party retweeted some really awful misinformation about our drag camp. Drag camp has kind of become this like buzzword for the far right. And so it created a really not fun snowball effect of hate from all around the world, all around North America especially. And the most frustrating part for me was the safety concerns that it straight up brought. Planning a summer drama camp, I should not have to think about, in my head, I'm like, I should not have to think about what escape plan A and B and C and emergency procedure for if one of the kids gets yelled at by some sort of protester. But once that hate started pouring in, the love was just incredible from our theater community, like our theater peers, from the queer community at large, the local Vancouver scene, like the amount we have one wall up in our office that's just littered with like all of the cards and the messages on social media and via email that our whole team got. The response from the parents and the kids has been nothing but incredible. It's exactly why we do what we do.
There's a lot of controversy about drag camp and there's the protests. We were a bit nervous driving there on the first day, but there were lots of pro-drag protesters outnumbering the anti-drag ones, and that was very reassuring.
It's so built up to be something that's like scary, and they're just like, this is corrupting people, but it's just fun. The parents and the kids are really excited and happy to be there.
The metaphor I gave was dance. Like, you don't go to a burlesque show, a clearly adult venue for a clearly adult show, and then walk out of it being like, it's inappropriate that my 5-year-old is in ballet class. And it's the same thing for drag. Drag can absolutely be explicit. Drag can absolutely be an adult-only content. And so when you really start to break down what drag is, it's makeup expression, it's performance, it's lip syncing, it's choreography, it's community, and then for some people, sometimes it is expression of gender. For other people, it's just an expression of performance.
Yeah, I think it's just this like fear of what's different, fear of left-leaning politics taking over or indoctrinating people.
Well, any sort of change can be uncomfortable, but it's unacceptable to be hurting other people because you're scared of that change.
Why is it that me wearing makeup and having earrings and having all this just makes you so triggered, you know? I came in an Uber, as I told you now, and we get on the Uber, and the person was so nervous to see me because he was driving, and I understand, I didn't want to make anything. But I also noticed that in the rear view, he couldn't stop staring. And I'm like, it's so funny that you won't even speak to me directly, but at the same time, you cannot take your eyes off of me. So there's this thing that it's happening that you want to know and you wanted to ask, but there's this fear that is happening that it's impeding you to do it. So it's like, it's time to let go and just see that it's a person wearing beautiful things, and that's it.
It's just kind of that louder voice of like, oh, this isn't normal. And then that begs the question, like, what is normal? How do we define normal, and who gets to create that for us? And at the end of the day, it's really about like, what is the freedom to express who you are and to be who you are?
My message to the world, it's time to unlearn what we were taught. And it's time to break those binaries and borders that have encapsulated so many people.
The world is facing so many intersecting disasters on so many different levels, and like, if we want to see future generations succeed, we actually need to do something differently. We need to be able to think more creatively, and we need the next generation to be able to express themselves authentically and not feel like they need to fit into the mold of what came before.
Not all people who are queer do drag. Not all people who do drag are queer. I do think it's important to remember that the art of drag, its roots are inherently queer. It comes from queerness, it comes from queer history, but when it comes to drag now in 2023, like this year, drag is for everyone. You don't have to be queer. I think what you do have to know if you want to do drag is to understand the history of drag and its roots in queerness, in queer history specifically, but you do not need to be queer to do drag. You don't need to be anything other than excited.
The drag name that I picked out is Valentia, which is a Spanish word for like bravery and courage. So, because that's what I wanted my drag persona to be like. I wanted to be big and able to go up and do things. I am not confident when it comes to performing and being big and loud in front of other people. So drag camp really helped me get to that point where I can be myself in front of other people, which is something that I didn't know if I'd be able to do to that level until I came here.
I'm actually a little bit jealous of the confidence that this has given her. I think it's absolutely phenomenal. Her ability to walk through the halls of her high school with her head held high and going, this is me, take it or leave it. The kids actually know who they are. They have a much better idea who they are than we do, but you have to listen to them. You have to listen to what they're saying and not just, oh, I hear you, I acknowledge your feelings. It's actually taking it in and trusting that these kids know what they're talking about, know what they're feeling.
I love drag camp. I think it's so important. And there's the leadership here continuing to do the camps, despite all of the garbage they've had to navigate in the last year is so incredible, and seeing the way that community members have come together to do a GoFundMe so that they can continue to do this work just shows how much support they have and how necessary this kind of programming is.
The most important part of that is the confidence and the empathy that people gain, but also that kinship, because so much of drag is about building community, and it takes a village to do drag.